While the world's biggest automakers pour billions into electric dreams, Japan seems to be moving in the opposite direction. And somehow, it's working. Out of nowhere, a $13,000 petrol-powered minicar has started to rattle the foundations of the entire EV market. It's small, it's simple, yet behind its modest frame hides technology that's forcing even Tesla to pay attention. Could this tiny machine really challenge the electric empire? Stay with us to the end, because this mysterious car might just rewrite the future of cars. Let's begin with the unexpected reveal that started it all. The tiny car that broke the silence. The recent announcement in Japan is shaking the global auto industry to its core. Few expected Mitsubishi to make waves with a gas engine in 2026, yet that's exactly what happened. That spark is the Mitsubishi Delica Mini 2026, a box-sized gasoline car priced at just $13,000, less than a second-hand sedan. This tiny car has turned heads across Japan for its blend of size, comfort, and efficiency. The shock isn't only in the price, it's what the car represents. While most manufacturers are pushing electric vehicles that require endless charging, this one is powered by a 658 cubic centimeter three-cylinder engine that delivers up to 55 miles per gallon, paired with a CVT transmission and optional turbo version that pushes 63 horsepower. It's not chasing the electric trend, it's countering it. With the auto world struggling with range anxiety, charging delays, and falling electric vehicle sales, Mitsubishi's tiny boxcar offers freedom through simplicity, quick refueling, compact agility, and everyday practicality. Inside its small frame is either a naturally aspirated engine or a turbocharged version producing 63 horsepower, paired with a continuously variable transmission that makes city driving smooth and fast. It cuts through Tokyo's narrow streets with ease, parks anywhere, and fills up in under 2 minutes. Drivers don't have to face charging queues or software crashes, just old-school practicality wrapped in modern design. For Japan's dense cities, where space is gold and commutes are short, this car feels like a masterstroke. With early buzz and strong demand, the Delica Mini may mark the quiet return of Japan's legendary K-car culture. What Mitsubishi just did wasn't launch a small car. It challenged the direction of an entire industry. While the rest of the world is betting on bigger batteries and faster chargers, Japan may have just reminded everyone that innovation doesn't always mean electric. Sometimes it's about building smarter, not larger. And this move might only be the beginning. Because behind the Delica Mini's humble frame lies a story of how Japan's forgotten K-car culture quietly built the blueprint for surviving the electric storm, and it's about to make a global comeback. Japan's hidden edge, the tiny cars outsmarting the EV giants. While most countries scramble to electrify their roads, Japan seems to have found a loophole in the system, a fleet of tiny gas-powered cars that somehow manage to be cleaner, cheaper, and faster to live with than the electric future everyone's been promised. These pocket-sized machines are rewriting the rules. The numbers alone sound unreal. In 2024, K-cars made up 30% of all vehicle sales in Japan. That's almost 1 in 3 cars sold. Each one measures less than 3.5 meters in length and still accommodates a family of 5 with room for groceries. And because of Japan's tax breaks and insurance perks, owning one can cost 40% less than a regular car. For city life, they're unbeatable. Slipping through traffic, parking in spots a full-size sedan could only dream of. But this phenomenon didn't come out of nowhere. It began after the Second World War, when Japan needed affordable and efficient vehicles to rebuild its economy. That same formula, small, light, and clever, became part of the culture. Decades later, it has evolved into a billion-dollar ecosystem led by names like Suzuki, Daihatsu, Honda, and now Mitsubishi. Every year, over 2.5 million of these cars roll off the lot, holding 75% of their resale value after 3 years, numbers most EV makers would kill for. And the Delica Mini, built on the same K-car platform, borrows the rugged name of Mitsubishi's iconic Delica van but scales it down for modern streets. It's taller, roomier, and smarter, with sliding doors for tight alleys and a cabin high enough for 6-footers. Japan didn't need batteries or billion-dollar gigafactories to outpace the EV movement, just smarter engineering and a population that values simplicity over hype. Yet the real shock isn't how Japan mastered small cars, it's what's powering them. Beneath those compact hoods lies an engine so efficient, it's rewriting everything we thought we knew about petrol. The question now isn't if Japan can replace batteries, it's how soon. The engine that outsmarted batteries. Here's the twist no one saw coming. While the world raced to plug in, Japan quietly doubled down on petrol, and somehow it's paying off. Mitsubishi's 2026 Delica Mini isn't just your regular small car, it's proof that gas engines might still have a few tricks left that electric rivals can't match. Inside that boxy frame sits a compact 658 cubic centimeter three-cylinder engine, small enough to fit in a suitcase, yet efficient enough to squeeze out 52 miles per gallon. The base version hums at 51 horsepower, and the turbo trim hits 63, letting it ride past traffic while sipping fuel. A $30 tank takes it roughly 400 miles, and it never once needs a charger. Compare that to 30-minute wait times at public stations or battery replacements costing $10,000 every few years, and suddenly the old tech doesn't look so outdated. But this isn't the same kind of petrol engine you remember. Engineers used variable valve timing and tighter thermal management to stretch torque and efficiency from every drop of petrol, and Mitsubishi offers a mild hybrid assist on some trims that helps capture braking energy and smooth low-speed drive. But only the mild hybrid versions recover small amounts of energy, not the full regenerative systems you find in pure electric cars. It's practical innovation, not flashy, but clever, built for a world where convenience still matters more than ideals. Out on the road, the Delica Mini performs like a quiet rebellion. It hits 80 miles per hour with steady control, weaves through city gridlock with ease, and outlasts batteries that fade faster in heat. Real-world surveys back it up. Most drivers still prefer fill-and-go freedom to charging apps and station queues. A well-maintained modern petrol engine commonly exceeds 200,000 miles before major overhaul, which keeps long-term ownership costs predictable for many drivers. This approach rewrites the trade-off. Instead of forcing buyers into charging infrastructure they may not have, Mitsubishi focused on cost, durability, and real-world convenience. But the real twist comes next, because this power doesn't come at a premium. In fact, it's so affordable that competitors can't even figure out how Mitsubishi pulled it off. If this breakdown hits the right spot, hit that like button, because what Mitsubishi did next might just rewrite the rulebook on how cars are built. The price shock. How Mitsubishi outsmarted the system. How did Mitsubishi build a fully loaded 50-mile-per-gallon car for just $13,000? It sounds impossible, yet the numbers check out. The 2026 Delica Mini didn't cut corners, it cut costs in places most automakers never dared to. It starts deep inside Mitsubishi's Kyushu factories, where nearly everything is built in-house: frames, panels, even the tiny fog lights. That alone saves millions in shipping, taxes, and import markups. By keeping production local, they avoid tariffs that could add 15% overnight, while parts from longtime partner Denso keep the price of complex systems, like the continuously variable transmission, down to a fraction of what it costs to make EV components. This means the entire car rolls off the line for roughly $9,000 in raw build cost, leaving enough room for profit, something Tesla can't claim when its battery alone costs around $8,000 to $22,000. From there, it's a masterclass in efficiency. Every K-car in Japan is capped by strict regulations: 3.4 meters long, 1.48 wide, and a 660 cubic centimeter engine limit. These rules force automakers to design smarter, not bigger. Mitsubishi also shares the Delica Mini's platform with Nissan's Rooks model, splitting research and development costs while producing nearly 400,000 units annually. That scale alone cuts supplier prices by roughly 25% across the board. Even the government lends a hand. Compact cars like this qualify for tax breaks and fuel efficiency incentives that shave about 10% off the final sticker. Add a mild hybrid system that costs $500, not the $5,000 upgrade full EVs need, and you've got the cheapest practical car in Japan without sacrificing reliability. But even after slashing costs and outsmarting the market, Mitsubishi didn't stop there. What rolled out of their labs next looked nothing like a budget car. It looked like a challenge to every designer on the planet. Because when you see this thing, you'll wonder, how can something so cheap look this bold? The design that breaks every rule. At first glance, it appears playful, but beneath the compact frame lies engineering precision that few expected from a $13,000 city car. The 2026 Delica Mini stands 1.7 meters tall and measures 3.39 meters in length, a perfect fit under Japan's kei car limits. Yet Mitsubishi has managed to make it look tougher and more purposeful than any small car has a right to be. The squared front fascia with slim LED lights and a deep-set grille gives it a strong, upright presence without extra bulk. Every design element works with intent. Power sliding doors allow easy entry in tight spaces, and reinforced steel panels protect against Tokyo's narrow street bumps. 14-inch alloy wheels and subtle side skirts give it stability, while the raised roofline enhances visibility and opens up the cabin. Even the paint isn't for show. Mitsubishi treated it with corrosion-resistant coatings designed to withstand Japan's coastal humidity and winter road salt, a reminder that this is a car built for real life, not showroom gloss. It's not just smart design, it's a quiet challenge to every automaker still chasing size over sense. But it's what's inside that bends logic completely. Because somehow this tiny box hides a space that shouldn't even exist. You'll want to share this one with a friend, because once you see how Mitsubishi pulled it off, you'll realize this car doesn't just look smart, it thinks smart. The space trick. Step inside the Delica Mini, and the first surprise is how roomy it feels for a car this size. With 1.2 meters of headroom and generous front legroom, the cabin avoids the cramped feel common in tiny city cars. The rear bench slides forward and back by around 18 to 20 centimeters to tune legroom or cargo space, and fold-flat seats free up roughly 1,000 liters of usable volume for bags, strollers, or a weekend load of gear. Sensible, not miraculous, but very well executed for a kei-class footprint. The cabin doesn't just feel roomy, it feels engineered to challenge everything you thought a compact car could be. This interior is where Mitsubishi's precision truly reveals itself. Every inch is optimized. The sliding doors that made parking effortless outside now sync perfectly with fold-flat seats, creating a wide, flat floor for strollers, boxes, or surfboards. Nothing feels accidental. Even the dashboard is stripped of clutter, shaped for elbow room and quick reach, while hidden storage bins and cup holders tame the usual chaos that comes with family rides. What's more impressive is the comfort tech packed inside. Heated front seats, dual-zone air vents, and ambient lights that shift from soft blues to energetic orange tones turn every drive into a calm retreat. The panoramic glass roof floods the cabin with daylight, making the space feel even larger, while stain-resistant fabrics and durable panels remind you this car was built for everyday chaos, not showroom perfection. Having 5 people and supplies for a mountain trip? It never feels tight. That's the secret behind this cabin, not digital flash, but smart design that prioritizes people. It's practical comfort that feels impossible at this price, a mix of function and warmth that most high-end EVs can't replicate. But just when you think you've seen every surprise, the real secret begins to surface, because under that roomy calm hides something even more unthinkable. Something so advanced, it shouldn't exist at this price. Yet somehow, it does. The smart shield that shouldn't exist at this price. Mitsubishi Delica Mini looks like another tiny commuter car, but under that modest shell hides something unexpected. Tech so advanced it's making even electric cars look outdated. It doesn't just move smartly, it thinks smartly. It watches, predicts, and reacts before the driver even blinks, turning a budget commuter into something closer to an intelligent guardian on wheels. When engineers cracked open its core, they found a full digital command center, a 12.3-inch infotainment hub that syncs wirelessly, runs navigation with real-time traffic prediction, and lets drivers issue voice commands that handle everything from temperature to track changes without touching a button. It's not a gadget gimmick. It's tech that works, instantly, with none of the lag or battery drain that plagues most EV dashboards. And that's just the start. The real surprise lies in how this little car protects you. Mitsubishi didn't cut corners. It loaded the Delica Mini with the same safety tech found in vehicles triple its price. A 3D multi-around monitor gives you a full 360-degree view when parking or maneuvering, while forward collision mitigation slams the brakes automatically if a pedestrian or another car suddenly appears. Even junction assists, a feature once reserved for luxury sedans, are built in. Inside, 7 airbags, including front, side, curtain, and knee, surround the cabin, while a high-tensile steel frame absorbs impact from every direction. The safety story continues with subtle, smart aids. Lane departure warnings gently guide you back when you drift. Blind spot monitors flash alerts before trouble hits. And drivers testing it in the rain claim it reacted faster than they did, like the car knew before I did. These systems aren't experimental. Mitsubishi's safety labs have spent years stress testing them in both simulations and real-world chaos to make sure they hold up where it matters most. Inside, the setup feels years ahead of its price tag. A 7-inch digital display delivers clear visuals of your speed, navigation, and fuel data, while a 12.3-inch infotainment screen, powered by Google's built-in interface, syncs wirelessly to your phone. Voice commands adjust the climate and audio instantly, while MI Pilot adaptive cruise control takes over in traffic, braking and accelerating seamlessly. Even the hill descent control keeps the car steady on steep roads, crawling safely at 3 miles per hour without touching the brakes. Features that most electric vehicles still charge extra for. Automatic climate sensors adjust temperature based on humidity, and the fold-flat rear seats expand the cabin to an astonishing 1,800 liters of cargo space. Everything feels calculated for function, not show. And that's the quiet revolution here. While EV makers chase flashy screens and faster chargers that still fail under real-world strain, Mitsubishi built a car that simply works. Threat to the EV era. While the rest of the world races to make bigger, faster, and pricier electric cars, Japan has been quietly moving in the opposite direction, and that's exactly what makes their new strategy so dangerous. Beneath the headlines about flashy EV startups and battery breakthroughs, Japan has been perfecting something far more disruptive. A long-term plan to dominate the roads with small, efficient, and unbelievably affordable vehicles. The kind that can shake the entire EV industry from the ground up. Mitsubishi hits competitors where it hurts most with the price tag. But there's something hidden in this tiny commuter that is now threatening to end the electric vehicle revolution before it even matures. It is rumored that following its announcement, thousands of pre-orders have been made, with waiting lists stretching across Asia. And now, analysts are warning that if this trend holds, non-electric cars could claw back a quarter of the global market by 2030. This isn't just another budget car success story, it's a wake-up call. For years, Tesla and its rivals have built their empire on the idea that full electrification was inevitable. But the Delica Mini proves that people don't want ideology. They want practicality. They want to refuel in minutes, not wait hours. They want a car that costs $200 a year to maintain, not a $10,000 battery replacement hanging over their heads. That simplicity has become the new luxury, and it's eating into Tesla's dominance faster than anyone predicted. And the numbers don't lie. Globally, gas stations still outnumber public chargers 3-to-1. Hybrids now account for nearly half of new car sales in Japan and are climbing in India and Europe. Meanwhile, Tesla's share prices have dropped 4% since the Delica announcement. But this isn't only about competition. It's about philosophy. The Delica Mini exposes a hard truth the EV industry doesn't like to admit. Technology can't replace trust overnight. For everyday drivers, reliability and affordability still matter more than futuristic promises. That's why the Delica is connecting where electric dreams are fading. It's proof that innovation doesn't always mean more voltage. Sometimes it means knowing when enough is enough. So, here's the question every automaker's now asking. Is this the beginning of a global reset, where hybrid simplicity wins over electric ambition, or just a pause before the next big leap? Either way, Japan has forced the world to rethink the road ahead, because sometimes it's the smallest car that delivers the biggest shock. Japan's unpredictable strategy. Japan's automotive playbook has not always been about racing to catch the latest trend. It's about adapting technology to fit reality. When the world turned electric almost overnight, Japan didn't rush to join the stampede. Instead, it hesitated not out of doubt but out of caution. That patience is now taking shape in a way that's starting to unsettle the global market. Toyota once led the charge with hybrids, bridging the gap between petrol and electric power long before most countries took emissions seriously. Honda, too, earned its reputation by refining engines that lasted longer, ran cleaner, and cost less to maintain. Now Mitsubishi is taking that same practical route, but at a moment when nearly every other brand is abandoning it. Launching a petrol-powered K car in 2025 sounds like swimming against the current, yet it's perfectly aligned with Japan's circumstances. Electric vehicle adoption in Japan sits at only around 4%, less than half the global average, largely because most citizens live in apartments without access to home charging. Public charging networks remain thin, and high battery costs push prices beyond what the average commuter can afford. Against that backdrop, compact, fuel-efficient cars like the Delica Mini make sense. They're inexpensive to buy, cheap to run, and built for the dense vertical cities that define Japan. So rather than rejecting electrification, Japan is recalibrating it. The government continues investing in hybrids, hydrogen, and small engine efficiency instead of going all in on battery electrics. It's not a show of defiance, it's a survival strategy. Mitsubishi's latest move fits perfectly within that approach. A focus on practical technology that works today, not just tomorrow. The result is unsettling global automakers who assumed the future would move in one direction only. Because if Japan's slower, more flexible path begins to pay off, it won't just reshape domestic sales, it could force the world to admit that the electric revolution might not be as straightforward as it seemed. And that realization is spreading fast. What began as Japan's pragmatic pause is now turning into an international wake-up call. The global panic that followed. The Delica Mini, once dismissed as a domestic curiosity, is now showing up in prototype fleets from India to California, forcing governments and automakers to rethink what affordable mobility even means. What started as a niche experiment is turning into a global chain reaction that no one, not even Tesla, saw coming. India is first in the blast zone. With millions of commuters battling gridlock and power shortages, the promise of a $13,000 locally built Delica Mini is too tempting to ignore. Mitsubishi's already negotiating assembly lines with Tata Motors for 2027, a move that would produce over 100,000 units annually and undercut popular EVs like the Nexon by up to 20%. The key isn't speed or status, it's survival. In a country where daily charging is unreliable, a hybrid petrol mix that costs a fraction to maintain is a breakthrough. And once it lands, rivals like Suzuki and Hyundai are expected to scramble for copycat designs. Europe is next. Cities like Amsterdam and Berlin, long obsessed with electrification, are quietly running pilot fleets of Delica-inspired K models. The results may raise eyebrows, as results are expected to see 25% fewer traffic stalls, 15% lower emissions, and vehicles small enough to fit 3 per parking space. Insiders at Geneva's 2025 Motor Summit say Volkswagen's compact EV team has been rattled, with the ID.2's development now under emergency review. Mitsubishi, meanwhile, is already working with local partners to meet EU emissions standards, and its hybrid variant has become a testbed for urban delivery fleets fed up with high EV costs and low reliability. And across the Atlantic, the shockwave has reached the US. California's rideshare industry, Uber, Lyft, and even local delivery startups are gradually planning on importing test units. With tariffs adjusted, a possible $15,000 import price makes it the cheapest new car in America. and that's already shifting consumer behavior. What began as Japan's small survival strategy is now an international disruption. Analysts warn this K-wave could cut the global EV growth curve by 2030, not by replacing it, but by revealing a cheaper, simpler path forward. And as the ripples hit every market, one final question looms. Was this tiny car Japan's secret weapon all along, or the moment the entire auto world realized it's been racing in the wrong direction? So here we are, a $13,000 petrol car built for Tokyo's alleys, now forcing billion-dollar electric empires to defend their future. The Mitsubishi Delica Mini wasn't supposed to matter, but it might have just changed everything. And that leaves one haunting question. In the age of electric dominance, can this tiny petrol car outshine them all? Is it just a vehicle or a weapon capable of shaking the entire EV world to its core? Let us know what you think in the comments section below. And if you love deep, factual stories that uncover what others miss, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because the next chapter in this automotive revolution is already unfolding. And trust us, you'll want to see what comes next. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.